Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we've got a rather exciting mod. It's just recently dropped on the workshop and I really enjoy it. So, first up, we have to start a campaign as normal. And I'm going to start a campaign as Carl Franz because it's the typical go-to. But don't you worry, this mod is not specific to just the Empire. It's actually going to help out a lot of different races and factions, but it really does help the Empire right now. As you are aware, the Empire gets dogpiled very early on, so this mod is going to make things a little bit easier if you decide to play as Carl Franz and friends. So what exactly is this mod? Well, this mod is called AOR Mercenaries Lawful. There is another version which is unlawful, but I generally just push the law-friendly mods, you know? So, yeah, this is a mercenary system. If you're used to this from previous Total War games, you know, medieval and stuff, this is exactly what you're going to be able to get, and I think it works out quite well. So here we're playing as the Empire, we've just taken our first city, and we have access to instant recruits. If we want to build up an army quickly, if we want to deal with the secessionists and then go to maybe attack Festus and stuff, you can see here that already you'll have access to a few Empire spearmen with shields, and also some huntsmen. But what you can see is it's using the same mechanic as the Warriors of Chaos right now, where in that area, in that local region, right, you've got a chance, a 15% chance, a 20% chance, and even a 5% chance to, in the next turn, have access to either more spearmen, more huntsmen, or even a steam tank, which I think works out quite well. Hell, if you're very lucky, maybe next turn, turn 2, you'll even have a steam tank to start doing some big damage. But yeah, it's a really fun system. Now this might look kind of bare, but don't you worry, things start expanding as we start moving on to different locations and hell, as we start progressing through our campaign. You aren't just locked to recruit your own troops. So here we are in a Bretonnian area. We've just captured the city. As you know, Heinrich does tend to take this very early on. And here we are. We can pick up some peasants. We can pick up some mounted yeomen. This is something that if you need some extra bodies quickly, here you go, you can instantly recruit. You will have also noticed at this point, well, even the clip before, that some of the units themselves are going to be fairly expensive, as what they are is double the normal recruitment cost, which I think kind of makes sense. Seeing as you won't be waiting a turn, you're just paying for the convenience. And in some cases, if you take over other areas which might not be of your culture and not of a possible ally, so here we are in Blackstone Post, which belongs to the Vampire Counts, you can still recruit mercenaries because you own the area, but it's a very small amount and it's not going to be dwarfed. As your campaign starts to progress and you start noticing bigger threats, like for example Festus over here, you're going to need more mercenaries, and the basic ones that you had at the start aren't going to cut it. So the mod itself has like 3 tiers. It starts off at turn 1 where you can get some basic ones, then at turn 25 you can start getting a bunch more units, and then at turn 70 you can start getting a lot more. So here you can see the 25 section as you start going through different areas. Some of them are going to have units, some of them aren't. It's just how it is because, you know, these are the regions themselves and you've got to wait for them to kind of fill up, just like the Warriors of Chaos, which I like the system. I think that's a really good system. You can get mortars, you can get crossbows, you can get handgunners. The idea is pretty cool. I love this because it brings you back to an old school type of Total War feel. You're paying for more, but you're getting a bunch of units for that. And you're going to be able to do that with all your allied stuff. So this is where it gets a little bit cooler, where you can even get yourself some Grail Knights and that. It's important to note, however, that obviously your red skills and stuff like that will not boost up the allied units. This is something that really needs to get sorted out in vanilla. The thing is, we already kind of have that system with the Warriors of Chaos and hell, even the Monogod factions, where they've got non-demonic boosts and then boosts up for something else. It needs to be more universal. I think that's something that could be really good in a patch in the future, as not only would it benefit a mod like this, but it would benefit you using allied armies. If you build up outposts and stuff like that, you get the bonuses there. It's also very important to note that the AI will also make use of this mechanic, which I think is great. It means that the AI is smart enough to say, well, I have enough cash, I can recruit some units instantly. I've played with this mod for a few hours. I haven't noticed a lot of drastic changes in terms of AI behavior, because sometimes mods like this can do it, but no, they're just basically moving around. They're just expanding a bit better. I think there's a bit more battles there. You will also have to keep in mind that the AI will recruit from the same pool. They won't drain it, but they will recruit from the same pool that you have access to in those specific regions too. Another cool mechanic is there's going to be some restrictions involved, which we're going to talk about later, but say here with Alifanar, we're in a Dark Elf territory. Here's where you'll normally be able to pick up Dark Elf mercenaries, but as you're a High Elf, you can't recruit Dark Elves, so naturally you won't have access to the mercenary mechanic in this specific location, and I think that's awesome because it's lore friendly. There is a version that isn't lore friendly, but yeah, you know, these types of things, if they're done well, they can add a lot of theme, they can add some role playability and stuff, you know, which I think adds in a lot of flavor to Total War Warhammer in general. So on screen right now you can see all the details which can be found on the Steam page, and it's pretty cool. So early is turn 1, then turn 25 is when it goes to mid, and turn 70 is when it gets to late game. This is when you'll start getting access to more units, higher tier, just in general being able to field better armies quickly in an instant turn or 2 turns depending if you have to recruit or not. But it's a great thing, I really do enjoy it. And when you start going into the whole mercenary section, so these are the mercenaries currently available, and that's the High Elves, the Dark Elves, the Wood Elves. This will be in their respective areas. The Empire, including in the Southern Realms territories too. Kislev, Lizardmen, Cathay, Ogres, surprise surprise, Skaven, Bretonnia, and Dwarves, which I think is enough to kind of have some really fun roleplay. If you remember fielding armies on the tabletop, sometimes you could bring allied lists and you can bring some dwarfs with you, or you could bring some lizardmen. It was the whole thing about the alignment section there in the tabletop, and I think it's represented really well here. And obviously the mod itself has certain restrictions, so High Elves cannot recruit Dark Elves. Empire, Dwarfs, and Kislev, surprise surprise, cannot recruit Skaven. Skaven can only recruit Skaven, Ogres, and Dark Elves. Tomb Kings can recruit pretty much everyone else, and everyone else can, you know, mix around, but that's because Tomb Kings are neutral. Same thing as Ogres, because Tomb Kings and Ogres in the tabletop were the only factions listed as pure neutral. Same thing with the Dogs of War, but the Dogs of War kind of got shifted at the later editions. However, I do imagine that if the Dogs of War eventually get added in, which I still have high hopes for, this would be a system that would work out quite well for them. So like I said, I had a few hours with this mod, and it was really fun. It definitely made the Empire campaign a lot more bearable, as, yeah, the dog pile thing is kind of annoying. Hopefully that gets fixed in a few patches, but being able to field armies a bit quicker means a few things. Not only are you just able to field armies faster and be able to go and be more aggressive if that's what you like, but if you're being attacked by different enemies, if you're being swarmed, because right now, you know, the AI is declaring war often on you, you're able to build up a defensive force, provided that the mercenaries are available, and protect yourself. Sure, it's going to be kind of expensive, but as you start getting to that point where loads of enemies are declaring war on you, you should have already built up your economy, and you've already got a decent amount of cash just kind of waiting. Naturally, that would depend on the player themselves, but I am seeing nothing wrong with this mod. I've not seen really any bugs or anything. It's definitely a really cool flavor mod. Yes, it's a mechanic from all the Total War games, but it's nice to see that here, and hopefully we can see it done officially in the future. It's just one of these things that we've lost a lot of mechanics from old Total War games, and it's kind of sad, but this mod is great, and it's definitely going to stay in my load order. If you want to try it out for yourself, I'll have it linked in the description below. It's definitely something that you should have some fun with, especially if you want to play another Empire campaign, or you just want to have a little bit more of a roleplay feel. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this mod in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. Until then, I shall see you all again very soon. Have a good day.